I really love Stanford Data Ocean because not having gone through the traditional track of taking computer science courses, taking CS 106, I found myself having to self-learn some of the concepts, such as like the languages that is used, like R, Python. I found myself having to navigate through that myself. But through Stanford Data Ocean, it was like having your own wiki page that tells you like the basics and also very pertinent examples of what to do with that. So it gave you like an overview of like the different computing languages, and also in terms of genetics and bioinformatics, like statistics, and also all the way up to like machine learning and wearables and how we can apply those basic things into these applications. This was self-paced, so I felt not pressured to learn all these things at the same time, but when I was curious, I could go in and try to understand it step by step. So I really appreciated having Stanford Data Ocean as one of the resources that I could follow along with the course.
I think Stanford Data Ocean was great. I think it's amazing that the platform exists. It makes learning basic bioinformatics skills and working with this type of data so much easier and so much more accessible. I certainly benefited from this as a medical student, and my schedule is very regimented and pretty busy. And it was amazing that I could use it on my own time and learn at my own pace. I think it was funny using it too, because before starting medical school, I did a master's in bioinformatics, and I learned a lot of these techniques, but I wish I had something like Stanford Data Ocean, and I almost felt like, gosh, what's the point of the master's? I could have just read through this. Not that I'm still very appreciative of the master's. It's a great program, but I think Stanford Data Ocean democratizes the education that you can get from a graduate program to people that may not have access to it or don't have time for it. So it's an amazing platform.
The hands-on tutorials, especially the ones on Jupyter Notebook, were very helpful because a lot of times you learn the theory and how things are analyzed, but when it comes to the practice, you don't know how to start, what the data looks like, how to manipulate, transform it, and then how to analyze, how to visualize. And visualization, especially in our field, is very important for publication. So it gave me a very good glimpse into how people go through the analysis and how they produce their results, and what are some practical considerations.
It seems to lower the barrier of entry into the field, at least to start. Obviously, there's a lot more I could learn about bio. There's a lot more med students could learn about CS and stats, but it kind of lowers that barrier to entry. And that, I think, is really important in terms of getting people interested. Because if you hear the word bioinformatics, it sounds really complicated, and it's very, very off-putting to a lot of people, from both sides. Because if I'm a statistician, I would be like, I have no idea about anything med school people do. Or if I'm in med school or studying a biology PhD, I think it's very easy for me to be like, I don't really want to deal with computers. But this kind of makes it so it's like, I might be able to dabble with it. And then it really, for me, I've always been interested in biostats, but exposure to this really showed me just how many different ways it's used. And I thought that was pretty cool to see. And that's why I think it's important, because people from both sides can see there's a lot more that you can do if you actually use the other side of bioinformatics than what you're familiar with.
I really like the Data Ocean platform, actually, because I found that it was very hands-on, which is kind of different from some of the other online learning platforms I've used. I feel like a lot of learning platforms only revolve around like lecturing and then answering questions. But what I liked about the Stanford Data Ocean platform is you got to really run the Python cells yourself. You got to read through it and work through it at your own pace. And so I really liked it, especially because I could also type in my own commands. If I didn't understand any part of it, I could manipulate some of the commands or try it out with different data. So I really liked that it was very practical, but also very personalized as well.
Yeah, so Data Ocean's like a really great learning platform. From beginning to end, it steps through everything that an engineer or just a biologist who's interested in cloud computing for precision medicine applications would need in order to get started. And so it starts from research ethics, and it kind of continues through the programming basics, data analysis tools, cloud computing, bioinformatics. And so it's giving us a really holistic feel for, all the data science and ML tools that you need to do the job of precision medicine, as well as enough biology context that someone like me would need to actually perform precision medicine in the cloud without necessarily having to be a doctor or a biologist by trade.
I thought that it had a really nice blend of passive and active learning, where especially with how the Jupyter notebooks were laid out, it had a little blurb that kind of explained, here's the general topic that you're going to learn about. And then because it's a Jupyter notebook, you were able to kind of go through both the coding experience and the actual practical applications of the thing that you were talking about within the module that you were reading. And I'm very much a person that learns by doing. It's very hard for me to just kind of read something and understand it immediately. So I really like how with Stanford Data Ocean, I could just read something and then immediately put it into practice within the module itself and not have to go to another application or go to another YouTube video or open something else up to try and play with it on my own.
I think my experience with Stanford Data Ocean was pretty great. It really compressed challenging topics down into bite-sized ones, and all of the omics modules were really fascinating. And I think Data Ocean is going to be great in merging the gap between computer scientists and doctors or people in the field of medicine, because usually you find people either on one side or the other side, but you are not able to find someone who understands both aspects of it equally, of healthcare and technology. So as someone who's gone through Data Ocean, I think I can say that I understand both computer science and biology pretty well, so that I can bridge the gap between the two and actually go out and be a professional in bioinformatics after Data Ocean and after taking this course.